Hi guys, Void Moon here today to bring you the Ultimate Summoner Guide. This guide is valid as of patch 1.03b, the current patch in which this video was made. First, I'd like to go over some pros and cons for those of you that are new to the build and want to delve into playing a summoner. First of all, the best thing about being a summoner is the low gear requirements. Since none of the stats other than minion damage and health or increases to your minions, other than that, you can focus on just magic find, resists, HP, evasion armor if you choose, just to get lots of defense and magic find, more than any other class because you don't have to rely on any damaging attributes to your gear. Second of all, with the gear you can do snapshotting, which I'll go over later in the build guide, and that allows you to have 5 links or 6 links gear that doesn't matter what stats are on it, as you could switch it out for a good stat item and just snapshot your gear. Another reason why they're the easiest to gear in the game. Has extremely high clear times. Since you're going to be using minions with Unrighteous Fire, it clears everything in AoE radius really quickly. Quite possibly some of the fastest clearing in the entire game. Has a high potential for scaling, but not so much as other classes do. When you scale a summoner, you scaled off of very high percentage of your damage comes from quality. Gems really affect your character. Leveling up has a major effect as well, because a lot of our damage comes from auras and survivability and things like that come from the passive tree. So every time that you level up, it's a big increase, more so than other classes, I believe. It's really easy to play. The class is fairly simple. If you build correctly, you can just run through maps and everything just dies. Smart players will love a summoner in their group. The current builds and the one that this guide uses is not laggy towards anyone. You max have 6 zombies and 2 specters out. It doesn't lag anyone, and the smart players know this, and they know that you bring along 3 auras and awesome damage, and you're not going to die. So players will like that, not so much for leveling up, but in-game maps, because leveling up, summoner doesn't offer much for bosses and things like that. Which brings me to the next part, cons of the class. It's really hard to level as a summoner. All your damage is based upon nodes in your passive tree. So until you get some levels on you, you can't affect your zombies and your specters high enough that they'll just die immediately, practically, all the way through leveling until your 40s at least. Sometimes it also can be tedious to play a summoner because you have to go summon zombies and specters anytime that they die. And we'll be talking about snapshotting, which is time consuming, but definitely worth it. Another con is chaos. Chaos damage really hurts your pets. Unless you do Necromantic Aegis with a chaos resist on it, your minions are not going to have hardly any chaos resistance at all, so they get destroyed by it. Some bosses are pretty tough on summoner, especially early on. Talking a maps level, because all the way up until maps, you offer nothing for boss fights. All your minions will die, and then you don't offer anything. And that's about the pros and the cons towards it. So why don't we go ahead and start with the guide? Okay, so the first thing I'd like to go over is snapshotting, because it's one of the most important things to a summoner and allows the summoner to have very low gear requirements to put out a lot of damage. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my snapshot chest and show you guys how this works. So we'll go ahead and we'll do this with I believe I'm using specters, right? So we'll do it with a low-level specter so I can show you guys what to do. So what you're going to want to do first is take your chest, preferably a 5 link. It doesn't matter any of the stats on your 5 link. You just have to have a 5 link. And for this, I will be using specters. Take a note of where your specter gym is, or zombies. You can alternate this for both. I'll be going over specters this time. So I have Ray Specter in the second node here, the second gym slot. And next of all, I have a weapon here called Chobber Chabber. What this mallet does is it increases your minion's health. And I also am going to be using Seed Breath, and this also increases your minion health and damage. Okay, so I'm going to go kill something real quick, low level. Okay, so right now I have my minions will be getting a 21% increased maximum life buff from here as well. And all my specters will be linked with concentrated effect, increased burning damage, life leech, and minion damage. So I'll summon this specter, and that specter now has all those buffs. Now here's what snapshotting is. You leave the area, go to town. Now you're free to switch all your armor except where you have your specter gym linked to. While you're in town, you can take it off. And now I'm going to equip my actual chest that I just have for the stats, which has incredible amounts of evasion, max life, and resistances that I need. So I have this equipped, and I'm now going to put the Spectre Gem into the gym slot in the chest, which is in the same location. This is the slot 2 gym slot. And now, when I go back to Mudflats, my Spectre is still here, but with all the increased stats of these. Now what this allows you to do is not worry about having 5 or 6 link chests, but just getting chests for the specific stats that you need while keeping your minion with all these. It's really awesome if you can get a tabula rasa, because it's only about 1 or 2 exalts to get it, and it's way cheaper than buying a 6 link from anything else. So that's the basics of snapshotting. You do the same thing for your zombies if you want to, but we'll be going over the zombie section next. Okay, in this section I'll be going over zombies. Zombies are really important to have a quality zombie gym, as it increases your health of your zombies. And since you'll be running Vitality Aura, which is based upon a % of your health and your minion's health to regenerate, the higher that you can have your zombies' health, the longer that they'll last. Zombies can be raised from any dead corpse, including low-level ones. And this next part, the first part that I'm going to show you, is going to be for softcore only. It's not going to work, obviously, for Nemesis or Hardcore League. And so if I want to summon some zombies, I'll go to an easy area like the ledge. You can equip your snapshot to whatever you want in your 6th link if you want to, but I don't. I use a +2 to minion gems, which will increase the health further. You really want to have that in your helmet. And I'm using multi-strike and melee splash. Those are the 2 support gems that you want to have. It'll allow your pets to have a ton of damage, and the melee splash makes it all AoE, so it increases your clear times for AoE groups even further. And I have it set for Cast on Death. You can switch this out if you're on Hardcore Leagues with either a Remote Mine or a Faster Attacks to get your pets stronger. But for us, we're going to use Cast on Death. Why do we use Cast on Death, you might ask? Well, Cast on Death increases your damage by 240% for the linked gym. What that offers us is a way to increase our zombies' damage by 234%. So, we're going to come here to a level Act 1 normal. What this allows us to do is die and not lose any experience or anything, since we're in normal. So so we don't lose any experience. Obviously, you wouldn't want to do this in Nemesis. Okay, so have your gear equipped, your snapshot gear. So for me, that would be Seed Breath and Jabber Jabber. And what you're going to want to do is stand over a corpse. And you're going to need 2 gems for this. You're going to need Righteous Fire, and you're going to need Blood Rage. What Righteous Fire will do is it will take your health all the way down to 1, and then you use Blood Rage, and that will kill you the rest of the way. When you die, it summons a zombie with 234% increased damage. And what you want to do is use that how many ever times your max zombie is, and then continue on, and you'll have really awesome zombies. For specters, we use Burn Miscreations. These can be found in Lunaris Temple, so I usually just come to the waypoint and search for a Burn Miscreation. The easiest way to find them is for looking for the burned hands. Okay, so here we have some Burn Miscreations. Just be a little bit careful in the beginning here, since you don't have any specters yet. Your damage is going to be very mediocre with just having your zombies here. Well, you can see these guys on the ground, and so you don't summon the wrong ones. Let me go ahead and switch to my Spectre gear here. As you can tell that I have my Spectre gear, my just regular 5-link chest that I'm going to be using for Summon Spectre. And if you hold A, you can see what enemy you are hovering over. So hover over at Burn Miscreation and summon your Spectre. Now, to make sure that you can equip the chest that you want to equip, just head back to town, switch into your regular chest that you want, switch your Spectre gem over to your new chest, and now you are good to go with your Spectres. Now, Burn Miscreations are a little weird, because normally when they are just standing around, when you first get into a new area, they don't have Unrighteous Fire going. So you have to get into combat, attack some, run away some. It's just random pretty much when they cast it. So you might just cast it for no reason right there. Now what this does, as you can see, it just puts a fire spell on anyone that they're near that kills them extremely fast. As you can see, they're just instantly dying. For links for your specters, what you're going to want to use, the best links in my opinion, Concentrated Effect. It's a 65% increased damage right there alone. You'd want to use Increased Burning Damage, another 56% increased damage, can't go wrong with that. Life Leech, this makes it so your specters are very, very tanky. I hardly ever have them die, because they're constantly doing tons of damage. You have Vitality and Purity going, so they live. And minion damage, of course, for another 75% increased damage. This makes your specters do enough damage and stay tanky enough not to die, and you can literally just run right past mobs and they will just die. Oh, here's a coal fight. Cool. Perfect. And dead. Well, there's a good example on how much damage they do. Anyways, after you switch out your chest, you can also switch out everything else from your snapshot. As for passives, you can find a link to the passives that I use in the description below. So I'd like to go over gear. There's only actually 2 pieces of gear that you need that are specific to the build. That would be a Seed Breath, which increases the life, damage, and movement speed of your minions. And the other would be Jabber Jabber, which will increase the life of your minions. These are the only 2 uniques that you absolutely need to have. It's for screen snapshotting. You can find a Seed Breath for 1 or 2 chaos, and likewise with the Chopper Chapper. So those are pretty cheap. Honorable mention for this build, I just like to use Aurum Vorax for the 46% to all elemental resists. It really helps you in the build, since this only costs about a chaos to find. It does reduce your rarity, but it really helps you be able to get really defensive early on for cheap, since you don't have to look for any resistances on, like, say, your chest or something like that. It's easy to replace, and it can really help you in the beginning of building your summoner. As for your weapon in the end, you're going to want to use Immotrical's Grasp. What this does is it makes your zombies have 100% increased health, do 100% increased damage, have 30% increased resistances, but it halves the amount of zombies you can summon. It goes for about 10 exalts. That's in-game stuff. You might want to look out for that. As for other gear that is not specific, this build uses iron reflexes, so you're going to want as much evasion as possible. You're also going to be using Necromantic Aegis, which makes your pets get all the stats from your shield. So you want to get a shield with as much all resistances, and then extra resistances in the as well. As increased HP is okay, but you're going to really be looking just for the armor and the resistances, which is going to really help your minions survive. As for your chest piece, like I said before, for snapshotting, you're going to want a 5 to 6 link, and then whatever you can get. For helmet, you're going to want to get a +2 level to minion gems. This is going to help out your minions' damage, or your zombies' damage and health, which is really important for them. Other than that, you can stack armor, resistances to cap, maybe a little bit, slightly over cap, and item rarity if you can afford it. And that's the best thing about this build, is how much item rarity you can actually get, because you don't have to worry about any damaging nodes. As for auras, you have 2 auras that are mandatory, and that would be Purity of Elements. Since you're going for so many aura nodes as well in the build, you will really be able to feel the difference with your auras. So Purity of Elements, that will give you and your minions lots of elemental resistances to help them stay alive. Then you're going to want to use Vitality, and that will give you a percentage life regen for you and your minions. Your minions are going to have a good amount of health, as will you, and the higher that scales, the more health they get back per second. It's really going to help them stay alive. Both of these, of course, or all of your auras will be connected to a reduced mana gem, so that costs less mana, so you can hold 3 auras. Now, for the beginning, for your 3rd aura, when you first make your character, I would suggest Grace. This really increases your armor. Since you're running so many auras, it helps out a lot. So right now I'm sitting at 4.9k armor. If I switch on Grace, however, looking at a 5,000 armor increase just from that one aura. It's not going to help your minions that much, but it will really help you while you're looking to gear yourself up and get those nodes. Eventually, you can replace this. You can replace Grace with Determination. I don't have mine leveled up yet. I just started leveling it because I'm at the point gear-wise where I can start going for Determination rather than Grace. But this will increase the armor of your minions and yourself. So this is what you're going to want to use in-game. But it won't give you such a high boost as Grace will until you're at really high gear levels and with lots of evasion already. But definitely the better of the 2 choices, since it affects your minions as well. And of course, always equip these with lesser or reduced mana, so you can equip them all. Yeah. For Flasks, we're going to want to use 2 regular Flasks of animations. And what this does is it makes it so that percentage of your life regen will recover your minions as well. Since you're going to be killing so fast, these will respawn really quickly and fill up really quickly. And you can keep your minions alive through really tough situations, or just pop them randomly just to keep your minions alive. Once you get to higher level maps, I would suggest switching over your Quicksilvers and any other flasks that you have, except those two, with Seething Flask of animation. That will make it so when you're fighting really hard bosses, you can spam your flask since it's instant and heal your pets up. And I run a granite flask. Mine dispels shock, and but the point of it is when you get to an area where, say, that there is some chargers or some jumpers or something like that that you can't dodge, or say a hillock leap slamming, you can pop that and make sure that you don't get insta-gibbed. And as for curses, we'll be using vulnerability. That way it increases the burn damage of our burn miscreations and the physical damage of our zombies. So in this section of the video, I'm going to show you the basic gameplay of the build. So I already rolled a really easy map just for time constraints. Have my specters and my zombies already summoned, and have my actual gear equipped, so my snapshot gear is put away. And I'll just do an easy map to show you the gameplay. So when you first get into a new area, you'll notice that your specters won't have Unrighteous Fire cast. So you have to be really careful in the beginning here. Go ahead and just drop your Rejuve totems. When you see blue packs, it's nice. I'm actually not running a curse in this build, but well, you will be once you get to the end here. Just curse your enemies, throw down your Rejuve totem, and pop a pot every once in a while if you need to. And hopefully your specters will cast Righteous Fire as soon as possible. You're going to be pretty slow until that actually happens. It's just part of the gameplay, and I got really unlucky here and got 2 packs here right in the beginning. Oh, and there we go, we have Unrighteous Fire cast. And that's the basic gameplay. Drop your totem, run around them, let your specters catch them on fire, and just win. I'll go ahead and speed this video up now. And that's the basics of the Summoner Guide. If you have any questions or comments, please let me know below or in the official forums thread, which will be linked in the description. Let me know if you guys want to have any guides for other classes or anything, and I will get to making some more videos. So please subscribe if you'd like to see more, and see you guys later.